Hello, children. This is the fifth lesson on modal verbs. It's the last lesson of the week. You'll still need a pen and a book to write in, and you'll still need to listen out for any mistakes that I might make. Think about what I might say or what I might write. There, of course, may be no mistakes. If you see something, you spot a deliberate mistake, then email me and let me know. So we know that modal verbs are auxiliary verbs that are used to show possibility and also to show certainty. Today we're going to look at how modal verbs can start to think about the future. So we're going to describe a scenario and think about future possibilities. So here I have an elephant. It's about to jump in the pool. So my example is an elephant jumps into a swimming pool. Now, what could happen as a result of that? What would people do as a result of that? And I've got there's three modal verbs to choose from. And here it says everyone should get out in case the water splashes out, in case all of the water splashes out. So an elephant jumps in the pool, and the result of that would be everyone should get out in case all of the water splashes out. And we've used the modal verb should. So here's a scenario for you to have a go at. We've got a bull and it's become loose in the supermarket. The bull is loose in the supermarket, and you've got three choices of modal verbs to use: may, shouldn't, or could. Pause the video and have a go at writing what would happen if a bull gets loose in the supermarket. Write one sentence choosing one of these modal verbs. Have a go. Okay, so I was thinking about this, and I was thinking, if a bull got loose in the supermarket, what might happen? Well, people shouldn't stand in its way, will be one of the things that we need to think about. And maybe something else we need to think about is the fruit could get knocked over. Or, even worse than that, people may get hurt. So I've had to go writing three sentences using each of the modal verbs. Okay, so our next scenario is it rains non-stop for a month. So you've got a choice of might not, ought to, or wouldn't, would not. Pause the video and have a go at just writing one sentence that would say what would happen if it rained non-stop for a month. Have a go. So one of the options I thought about is, well, if it rains non-stop for a month, I would not be able to get my washing dry. And if it rained non-stop for a month, I ought to have a good umbrella. And if it rained non-stop for a month, I might not go for so many walks. How did you get on? Okay, you've got four more sentences here. Now you can choose which modal verb you want to use, but you're saying what would happen as a result of this. So some cows form a band and release a single. An alien attack fleet approaches the Earth. A cat attempts to climb Mount Everest. The police start recruiting children to join the force. Pause the video and have a go at writing one sentence for each scenario. Remember to include a modal verb. Okay, some cows form a band and release a single. People might go crazy for the new sound. An alien attack fleet approaches the Earth. Well, it's got to include the Donald, hasn't it? Donald Trump would start to call them names. I've got might and I've got would. A cat attempts to climb Mount Everest. The newspaper reporters can't believe their luck. They write a fabulous story about it, I think. And the police start recruiting children to join the force. Grown-ups should be nervous. That would be the result of that one. Okay. Now, we're going to think about using modal verbs for future possibilities again. This time, we're going to think about your house, where you might live. So using might, could, may, would, show future possibilities. What might your house look like? Where will you live? Have a go at writing a sentence for this. Where will you live? What will it be like? Pause the video and have a go. Well, I think I might say something like, where will I live? I might live in a large house in outside Leeds. It would be big enough for all of my family. So I've used might and I've used would. I might live in a large house outside Leeds. It would be big enough for all of my family. Let's look at the next one. What job will you do? And why do you think that? Pause the video and have a go. I could be a famous artist because people say I may might make a fortune with my talents. I might become a famous artist. I could become a famous artist. And here's the last one. Happiness. Thinking about your happiness using modal verbs to show future possibilities. What would it be like for you in the future? Pause the video and have a go at writing your sentence. I would be happy in the future because I have a good job and because I will have a good job and I might have all of my family together. So we can use modal verbs to show future possibilities. Here's your next challenge. You're going to write 3 paragraphs about your future life using as many modal verbs as you can. You might find it easier if you use more if you explain the predictions you have made and if you wonder out loud about how things might work out. You can pick up on the appropriate tone from these sample sentences. Let's have a look at them. When I am 30, I would like to live in a nice house. It may be quite a big house because I will have earned some money by then and it should have enough room for me to keep all of the things I want. It could have a garden too, and there might even be a swimming pool. So here we've got quite a few modal verbs on the go. I would like to live in a nice house. It may be quite big. I will have earned some money by then, and it should have enough room for me to keep all of the things I want. It could have a garden too, and there might even be a swimming pool. So that's the sort of tone we're thinking about when you write your paragraphs. Now, see if you can use 20 modal verbs or more. Count them up when you've finished. How many did you use? So remember, you're going to write 3 paragraphs. One will be about your house, one will be about your job, and one will be about your happiness. When you finish that, you might want to email it to me, but not just yet because there's one more task to do. When you finish this task, I'd like you to have a go at this last one for a challenge if you fancy it. And here it is. Your final challenge. Aliens come to visit planet Earth. Write a short description of what might happen if aliens came to visit. Remember to use a range of modal verbs for possibility. So that's what I'd like you to have a go at. When you finish that, you can always email it to me. So there's your final challenge. Aliens have come to visit planet Earth. Write a short description. I hope that over the past few days you've really got to grips with modal verbs. Next week, Mrs. Callahan will be doing your English lessons with you, and I'll catch up with you a week later.